let's have a look. So now we say they asked for her advice, and she said, let's shoot.
I was going to say advice. I think they used the wrong terminology. They shouldn't have said maybe military advice. Because she's the president.
She's got military background.
No, not she
even had no military background.
No,
President Whitmore had military background, and they criticized him for it because he used to be a fighter pilot.
No, I'm not saying that. I don't think. I'm saying in terms of advice, the wrong choice of words, because in every country, the president is the final say on launching an attack. So maybe they should have just said, President, what do you decide? Simple as that. Not, we need military advice. Maybe they're saying that because her husband or ex was in the military, so she was, juxtaposed kind of part of it, where he would come back from a fight, and then talk to her about it, so she understands it. But I think, remember, the choice of words is wrong. That's all.
But Jeff Golden's character was made the head of
like the world's security system.
He was pretty much the technical director of Area 51.
Okay, he gave his advice and said, don't shoot it. And she just didn't take it. So
but you can see that was like a paranoia, like that scene was supposed to be very like paranoid, hasty decisions,
Well, they use the typical cliche guy of, you got that one military guy general who's just like,
blow 'em up,
everyone has eat shit, just blow things up, guns, Second Amendment shit. that typical guy who's always opposed to peace talk. But again, that's like another thing. It was rushed. It really was.
Rushed, yeah.
Alien pops up, shoot it, destroyed, and then suddenly the chaos began.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, now let's have a look at another character, the warlord in Africa.
He didn't seem like a warlord to me.
No, but let's just have a look at this. It's very funny. Everybody else has super fighter jets and massive guns, and
he has a machete.
Yeah, the cold fusion bombs, and he's got the machete and two machetes, and he says attack them from behind. Now it's like, that's very funny. Everyone else has all this technology, and he's
yes. I think. You know what I think they did there? This is me just thinking that. If you think about certain movies, like besides Independence Day, the first one, obviously, which movie was it? War of the Worlds. Even the original, back when it was like in black and white.
Wasn't it a radio broadcast originally?
I don't know. I just remember
everything was. Even Superman was a radio broadcast.
Yeah. So what happened in War of the Worlds? What killed the aliens? Virus, our air. What we could withstand. Something simple and stupid.
Bacteria and airborne pathogens.
Independence Day. What killed them? A virtual virus.
Yeah.
So it was something simple that was very human-esque in its.
They didn't actually even explain if the virus would work again.
Well, they just figured that they had advanced.
They
thought they could defeat them because they had their technology. So why would we need a virus?
Yeah, because I was about to say, like, the way of thinking. I mean, I was about to say they sent a distress call. They didn't actually know what killed, because the upload of the viruses destroyed the thing. Yeah. So there was no analysis. So I'm just curious if they just, as the thing came, they were just like, send it a Trojan and just. It would have been war over.
I assume they just went with the fact they had alien technology and it did work once. Why would it work again?
And they kind of forgot that they had shields.
Yeah, no, they thought they could get through the shields because they were using the same technology.
They kind of sort of did. I mean, there were parts that they, like,
the little ships.
Yeah, like a few shots and they'd get through the shield.
Yeah, but the mothership, different story. But, saying that with the machete thing, I think maybe what they're going for is one, it's more badass, to get hands-on into it. But maybe there was a case of, it's like the virus, like the airborne virus stuff, simple stuff would kill them that they didn't expect. So they're attacking you head-on. All their shield is here. Even the queen, she had her little force shield thingy that was here. So from the back, she's weaker because you're going head on. So I think that's where they're going with it. I just think it was a bit cheesy as well. He's this buff guy and he goes on into these 6 meter tall aliens.
Yeah,
hands free.
I did find that a little bit weird because how powerful the aliens were and how fast they were.
Yeah,
that he just runs around and just goes.
He slid under them.
Yeah, slid under them.
And he was such a big guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, her tentacle whooped a jet.
Yeah.
Like, how fast do you have to be to whoop an alien jet out of the way? And he just slides under an alien, stab.
So it's. But I mean, again, we're not exactly.
It's there for comical effect, though.
But we're not.
I think it was just he was that guy to be cool.
Cool, yeah.
He was the cool action guy.
But again,
that was Will Smith. Remember?
Yeah.
Will Smith was the guy.
Cool.
I mean, they tried it with the Hemsworth brother.
Yeah.
They tried punching him when the freaking the armor was on. So they tried it. I think maybe Will Smith wasn't there as that cool action guy who jumped things and slide, and so they just.
We're talking about that. Hemsworth is supposed to be an A-list actor.
No.
As such.
Was
he also the right guy?
Who's this?
The main white guy.
Oh, Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah.
No, the Chris Hemsworth is Thor.
That's
It's
Liam's
Thor.
brother.
Liam.
That's the guy.
Is that his brother?
Yeah.
I don't know that.
They're vastly different in size.
Yeah, Thor's buff. He's not.
We also brothers and we're also different in size.
Yeah, just like
he's buff. You're not. I don't know. I felt his role, and as a matter of fact, that his girlfriend's role in the movie just felt super forced and flat.
Not a role. I'd say their relationship.
Because
she was the daughter of the president.
Of the previous president.
Yeah, so she grew up, because hers was fine, cool. It's just, that's why I said it seemed.
Well, they pretty much had one emotional scene in the entire movie was where Liam Hemsworth tells Dylan that he understands.
Sorry, I broke your plane, bro.
No, I know how you feel.
Yeah.
You know, I know where you're coming from. You know, kind of the emotional thing, and then
because I don't have parents.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden the movie went back to action.
Yeah,
which is actually what we wanted to see. It's just action.
I think if they could have told, like, they didn't really need the little stupid story points. They could have just thrown those out and just make an action movie and made it even better.
Look, in all fairness, they didn't.
That's the only part that actually slowed the movie down.
Yeah, but that's my point. Is I think every movie, I mean, naturally, like if you watch a horror as an example, you can only watch, or according to stats or science, your brain can only take a certain amount of a certain type of information for a certain period of time, like stress levels.
So you need to break.
Yeah, like horrors have those random like humorous moments.
Yeah.
And that's to break up because apparently your mind or whatever it works can only take a certain amount at a time. So that's what they do with the movie. You know,
what
you can only
happens,
have action
what,
for a certain
what happens after that point? You
in
just
a,
start
in a
to
horror or in a thriller?
I can't remember if it was a horror thriller, however it works. No, it's not you get bored. It's almost like a peak. Like it's too much.
Oh, you just like plateau.
For example, The Conjuring 2. I haven't seen it, but apparently in the States, people were collapsing in the cinemas. Like
that's why I'm asking
whatever
the question, because where would there be a humorous moment in a movie like The Conjuring? I don't think so. But Scream would have humorous moments.
It's to break it up.
Moments.
Action.
Freddy vs. Jason.
Action have those.
It was completely humorous.
Yeah,
it was terrible.
It was a terrible movie.
Action movies have those cut moments where it's like a boyfriend and girlfriend. That they naturally have it to make a flow. With this movie, it didn't work.
No.
Not saying they should have done action from beginning to end, but if they were going to do these moments, they should have planned it better, like the first one. They pretty much copied the first one, just followed the same path.
Well, a lot of the, like we said, a lot of the lines were the same. I mean, where President Whitmore was, they were in his mind, and he said.
Well, at the beginning of the movie, they literally just copy pasted his speech into it.
And they asked, "Can there be a peace?" You know, and there was like, "Peace, no peace." And then you see this new female president. She's like, "There will be no peace."
Yeah.
And it's like, did we have to use that line again?
Yeah.
And then, of course, the old man, Mr. Yiddish,
the Jewish father.
Yeah,
used putz and schmuck again, you know.
But that was funny. Your father.
That was funny, yeah.
He brings that comedy side to it. It's the way that he delivers it.
And the fact that he's in a school bus full of kids. That
was so creepy.
It's a little bit rapey.
What's funny is he just gets in the bus, turns and sees his fuel. Come on, let's go. Everyone's like, yeah. Gets on the bus with this old man.
Which is probably the most dangerous part, because all of a sudden there was an alien ship flying over the bus.
Yeah, they were driving to the danger. That's one thing I don't get why he didn't learn from the 20 years before is when all this cuck happened, he's like, the safest part to be would be with my son. When he got there, chaos. Now he's like, the safest part to be is with my son. Let me bring all these children
to my... and all the children, like, can we have your autograph? And he's like,
I would say the only good thing that they decided to leave out now was there was no Air Force One this time.
There was an Air Force One. There was that little thingy. That weird helicopter.
Oh, the helicopter that dropped his mother into
the abyss.
That they were going away with.
Yeah.
That was also a carbon copy, because I remember they did it at the White House.
Yeah,
and
then blew up. Yeah,
which is still one of the best scenes.
Yeah, that was when the helicopter gets nailed.
I'm pretty sure majority of the first Independence Day, well, not pretty sure, I'm sure, was miniatures that they were blowing up because it looked so good. Anyway,
probably bigger actually.
Yeah.